I've spent some time with the Legion 5 and the HP OMEN 15, and today we're going to be discussing just some differences between the two laptops. And I'll be helping just give you the information you need to make your own decision on which one you're going to buy. I'll have a card up here somewhere for my HP OMEN 15 coverage, maybe one of my videos. I'm not sure which one yet, but one will be up there. So starting us off, we have the prices. We have the HP OMEN 15, the variant we're going to be looking at is the most similar to the Legion 5 variant we're looking at for about $1,300 on Amazon versus the Legion 5 for just about $1,000 on Amazon. These are both US prices. I'll have links in the description to these exact listings in case you want to pick any of these up. So of course we have 16 gigs of RAM. Both variants have two 8 gig sticks running at 3200 megahertz. They are CL22 sticks. The graphics cards are both GTX 1660 Ti's. They're 80 watt variants, just in case you know or care about that. Basically the same power, same performance there. Both have 144 hertz screens, but the HP OMEN 15 screen is a bit slower response time wise than the Legion 5's 144 hertz screen. The Legion 5 screen responds way better in games than even just, everyday tasks in the laptop. For this specific variant, the OMEN 15 has a 1TB NVMe SSD, whereas the Legion 5 has a 512 gig NVMe SSD. Now let's move on to the topic of actual, features, functions, build, and such. Firstly, the OMEN 15 has a metal keyboard deck. I'm sure you probably know that, and if you don't, now you do. But the rest of the laptop, including underneath this bottom panel and the lid and everything else, that's all plastic. The Legion 5, it's got this rubberized plastic keyboard deck here, more of a matte, rougher finish bottom plastic and a plastic lid. So keep that in mind. This rubberized coating will get kind of grippy in hotter environments. Might get kind of sticky if you're sweating or anything like that, so make sure you keep that in mind. Keyboards. So Legion 5 has this very ThinkPad-like keyboard, roughly 1.7 millimeters of travel. It's got a separated power button, has a numpad. It's also got, white backlighting. You have 3 states technically, but you have low, high, and off, so you have those. On the OMEN 15, you have a technically 4-zone RGB keyboard, although the 4th zone is just the WASD keys. The rest is just 3 zones across the keyboard like that, so keep that in mind. That's what the kind of RGB you're dealing with. With the matter of touchpads, the OMEN 15 has a larger touchpad than this. It's also much more glassy, and it feels a lot nicer. The Legion 5 has a smaller touchpad, and it feels somewhat plasticky, but it's not, grippy and annoying. It's a perfectly respectable trackpad. It's just, not anything like a glass surface one. Worth mentioning is that the HP OMEN 15 has 2 M.2 slots and I believe an 80 watt-hour battery. And the Legion 5 also has 2 M.2 slots, but you can swap one of those M.2 slots out for a 2.5-inch tray pretty much on the 60 watt-hour models and use something like a hard drive or a 2.5-inch SSD, whatever you might want to put there. Going back to exterior, we have on the OMEN 15 an SD card slot. The Legion 5 does not have an SD card slot, which, might be a bit of a deal breaker for some of you that are photographers or work with video or just anything where you might want an SD card slot. This one doesn't have one, so you'd have to carry around an external reader, which is not a deal breaker for everyone, just something to keep in mind. Also, if you plan on using this laptop for work, or you're going to buy these for your business, the Legion 5 has a Kensington lock slot. It's on the back. We'll probably show a picture of it here. And the OMEN 15 does not. So if you need to secure your laptops, keep that in mind as well. Ports-wise, we have, on the OMEN 15, we have 3 USB Type-A ports, 2 on the right and 1 on the left side. On the Legion 5, there are 4 Type-A ports, 2 on the back and 2 at the sides, 1 on either side. Video out, we have dedicated mini display port on the OMEN 15, as well as 1 HDMI port. And the Legion 5 has 1 HDMI port and no display port or mini display port. But I believe both laptops have USB-C DP alt mode, so don't worry about not being able to use that because that's a feature of both. On the OMEN 15, the charger is positioned on the left of the laptop, and on the Legion 5, the charger's on the back, so that keeps the charger out of the way. Not everyone cares about that, of course, your own preference on that matter. There is no privacy shutter on the OMEN 15, whereas, the Legion has this privacy shutter right here that you can see. That little red dot is the privacy shutter covering the camera physically, which some people might care for. I personally just keep them on, not out of fear of anything, but just because I have a habit of doing so. And yeah, that pretty much covers a lot of the external stuff and just kind of surface level comparison. Now let's dive into stuff I know specifically about and stuff I've determined through testing and exploring the laptop, in my depth in my testing. So I've done stress testing and thermal testing on both these laptops, and the OMEN 15 has slightly worse thermal performance than the Legion 5. I think Jared had a very similar experience. In terms of fan noise and heat, in terms of just raw heat numbers and the power levels the chips can run at, the OMEN runs slightly behind the Legion 5. Of course, the GPUs are running at the same power level, but the CPUs are not going to run at the same power. And, if you're buying an Intel variant of either of these, you're going to want to definitely get the Legion 5 because the OMEN 15 has inferior cooling for the CPU. So Legion 5 is going to be a winner there, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Also, fans are quieter in general on the Legion 5 by a few decibels, I believe. That's been my experience. So again, if fan noise matters to you, then keep that in mind. We also have, I mentioned this when we were talking about the metal body with the plastics and whatnot. We have the build quality concerns of these laptops. The HP OMEN 15, we've had that lid controversy card up top for when I talked about that. Lid's just kind of it bends a lot, and some people are concerned about it. I don't think it's a deal-breaking issue. The only real concern I have is just overall chassis is kind of flimsy. The bottom cover, you can kind of pop it in at certain points, and it moves when you pick it up. It just doesn't feel very solid. Whereas the Legion 5, it's thicker, but that thickness is used to make the laptop feel sturdy, and it's also utilized to make the hinges better. We have a really solid hinge design. I'll have that on screen here. You can see it's this metal bracket along the sides that's riveted into the plastic, and I probably glued down too, that the hinges are screwed into to make sure they don't fail on this plastic lid. And it's weird that the 7i has issues with the hinges, but Legion 5 certainly does not. Regarding HP OMEN 15 actual issues, we have, as I mentioned in a different video, probably card here, there's been reports outside of me, they're still getting reports of this where people are buying the HP OMEN 15, the 8GB variants with the 1660 Ti and 4800H, and they're getting ones with defective backlight control. And the only solution to that is to exchange or return the laptop. So keep that in mind. I haven't seen the reports really stop. They've kind of just been trickling in slowly. So yeah, it's not just me there. But the Legion 5, there's no real major issues I've seen online. I've complained about the jack just kind of has a little hiss to it when you have, low impedance earbuds, but it's not terrible, and it's far from, if you're in a noisy environment to any degree, you have a fan on or an air conditioner or something, you won't be able to hear it. But if you're in a very quiet room, it will start to bug you. That's been my experience. Regarding FreeSync, the OMEN 15 has 45 Hz to 60 Hz FreeSync, which means that, when you have FreeSync on, you can only go between those specific frequencies on the display, but it will, try to prevent tearing and such at those frequencies. The Legion 5, however, has FreeSync from 60 Hz to 144 Hz. So you get that full range of frequencies with eliminated tearing. Instead of the OMEN 15, you only get that 60 Hz without tearing using FreeSync, which is a real shame. I wish the OMEN 15 went up to 144 Hz with the FreeSync, but really have respect for Lenovo for getting such an awesome screen in this laptop, especially given that it's $300 cheaper than the OMEN 15. And speaking of features the Legion 5 has that the OMEN 15 doesn't, the OMEN 15, you can only use it with Optimus, which means you have to have the AMD graphics enabled at all times. And you can't switch just to the dedicated graphics if you want to improve your performance by a few percent. Jared did a video on how much impact that has up here. So yeah, like Optimus, you lose some percent. It's not amazing, but it's good for battery life. But the Legion 5, you can actually switch just to the DGPU if you want. You know, you have to restart, but you can switch just to the 1660 Ti if you want to squeeze a little bit more performance out of the machine. Or if you plan on doing some extended gaming, you know, whatever you want to do, you can do that. But, you know, if you want battery life, you can just switch back to the Optimus mode and have a good old day, basically. And finally, we have the battery testing of these laptops. The HP OMEN 15 in general has less, like, it's less power efficient in general. I'm not sure specifically what caused that for that laptop, but I think it has something. I don't even know. I haven't been able to figure it out. I even reviewed some of my videos and I'm not 100% certain, but there's a lot more battery drain where like the battery life it gets is comparable to this at 60, honestly. And the Legion 5 is very battery efficient, you know, because it's 60 watt hour matching the OMEN 15 at 80. But you can get this in an 80 watt hour variant. You can buy the 80 watt hour battery if you wish to install it yourself, or yeah, whatever you want to do there. I've experienced optimistically 6-7 hours on this thing, but I've mostly been getting like 5-ish in my use. I've been using this for a little over a month now. But if you got the 80 watt hour, I wouldn't be surprised to see you hit 8 hours in some tasks. Probably more like 6 to 7, but 8's not unattainable if you're in that situation. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about the whole HP OMEN 15 versus Legion 5 situation. If you enjoyed this or you found this helpful, please get subscribed. Be sure to like the video and leave a comment if you have any questions. You can check out the Amazon links, of course, in the description. And any purchases made through the Amazon links in the description directly support the channel, so feel free to use those however you like. We also have channel memberships and Patreon if you wish to support directly. Thanks to everyone who does support directly, as I do use the money, and it does help the channel out significantly, especially this early into the game. We are almost going to hit 5K subs, and that's pretty exciting. And we'll see what happens when we hit 5K. I don't know. Whatever you guys want to see me do, just let me know in the comments, or join the Discord if you want to just have a conversation about whatever you wish. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you guys later.